You know what hurt the most? It wasn't that my son canceled my retirement party. It was the way he looked at me before saying, "Dad, nobody really cares about old men anymore." Those words followed me all the way home. I never imagined that after giving someone my whole life, I would one day feel invisible. Stay with me, because what happened before the next sunrise changed both of our lives forever. And if you enjoy emotional family stories like this, take a second to subscribe to Behind Dad. It really helps the channel grow, and I promise this story is worth your time. Before we continue, I just want to mention that the photos and visuals you see in this video are only creative illustrations to help tell the story and let you imagine the moments more clearly. My name is Michael. I had worked for the same engineering company for 38 years. I missed birthdays, vacations, and weekends because I wanted my family to have a better life. Every late night at work felt like another brick in the future I was building for my wife and my son, Ethan. The day I finally retired, I wasn't dreaming about expensive gifts or a fancy celebration. I just wanted one evening where the people I loved would smile, laugh, and remind me that all those sacrifices meant something. Everything was ready. My neighbors had already confirmed they would come. My old coworkers promised to stop by. My wife had even ordered my favorite chocolate cake. I put on the nicest suit I owned and looked in the mirror longer than usual. For the first time in years, I wasn't getting dressed for work. I was getting dressed to celebrate the life I had spent working. I smiled at myself, but deep inside, I had no idea that smile was about to disappear. About an hour before everyone was supposed to arrive, my phone rang. It was Ethan. I answered with a smile, expecting him to say he was on his way. Instead, his voice sounded cold and rushed. "Dad, don't come to the restaurant. I canceled the party." For a second, I thought he was joking. I even laughed. Then he said something I will never forget. "It's a waste of time. Nobody cares about old men anymore. My clients are more important than a retirement dinner." The room went completely silent. I couldn't find the right words. I just whispered, "I understand," even though I didn't. I looked around at the decorations sitting on the kitchen table. The balloons suddenly looked childish. The cake didn't feel special anymore. My wife tried to comfort me, but I could see the disappointment in her eyes too. I quietly took off my suit jacket, folded it over a chair, picked up my car keys, and drove away without telling anyone where I was going. I didn't want them to see a grown man trying not to cry. As I drove through the empty streets, memories kept rushing back. I remembered teaching Ethan how to ride a bike. I remembered working overtime so he could attend college without worrying about tuition. Every memory made me wonder the same thing. Where did I lose my son? Was I too busy building his future that I forgot to teach him the value of loyalty and respect? That night, I parked outside a quiet lake, turned off the engine, and sat there staring into the darkness, believing the worst part of my life had already happened. I couldn't have been more wrong. I finally drove home close to midnight. The house was quiet, and I felt completely drained. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just empty. I sat in the living room with the lights off, thinking maybe this was what growing old really meant. Watching yourself slowly disappear from the people you loved most. Then my phone rang. The number on the screen was unfamiliar. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. "Is this Michael Carter?" the man asked. His voice was calm but serious. "Yes," I replied. "My name is Daniel Brooks. I'm the biggest client at Ethan's company." My heart skipped a beat. I couldn't imagine why he would be calling me. Before I could ask, he said, "I was invited to your retirement party. When I found out it had been canceled because your son believed business mattered more than his own father, I was deeply disappointed." For a moment, I couldn't speak. Daniel continued, "I've built my company on trust and character. If someone can treat the man who sacrificed everything for him like that, I have to question how he'll treat his clients when things get difficult." I closed my eyes. Hearing those words hurt, but they also felt painfully true. Daniel thanked me for a lifetime of honest work, even though we had never met. Before ending the call, he quietly said, "By tomorrow morning, my company will no longer be doing business with Ethan's firm." I stared at the phone long after the call ended. I wasn't happy. I didn't want revenge. I only wished my son had realized the value of family before it cost him everything. But the morning was coming, and none of us were prepared for what it would bring. The next morning, Ethan showed up at my front door before the sun was fully up. His eyes were red, his tie was hanging loose, And for the first time in years, he looked like the little boy who used to run to me after making a mistake. He didn't say hello. He just whispered, "Dad, I lost everything." His biggest client had canceled every contract, and within hours other partners followed. News spread fast. A single decision made people question his character, and his company began falling apart. He looked at me and asked, "Can you ever forgive me?" I stood there in silence because some wounds don't heal with a simple apology. After a long moment, I placed my hand on his shoulder and said, "Money can be earned again. Trust takes much longer." He broke down in tears. That was the first time he truly understood that success means nothing if the people who love you feel forgotten. We spent the rest of the morning talking honestly, something we hadn't done in years. It didn't erase the pain, but it became the first step toward becoming a family again. If this story touched your heart, remember this. Never become so busy chasing success that you forget the people who helped you reach it. Careers can change overnight, but the love and respect of family are priceless. And before we end, just a reminder that the pictures and scenes you've seen throughout this video are creative visual illustrations designed to bring the story to life. If this story made you think, share your opinion in the comments. Have you ever seen success destroy someone's priorities? If this message could remind someone to value their parents before it's too late, please share this video with them. And if you want more unforgettable stories here on Behind Dad, subscribe and join us for the next one. Until then, take care of the people who stood by you before the world ever did,